This is Bob Maloney from MyMMAnews.com, and I am talking to the Quiet Man, Dylan Mantello. Dylan, how you doing, my man? Great to
Doing
see you.
good.
Dylan is coming off of a vicious and quick knockout at Ring of Combat. And Dylan, before we even, talk about the fight, you went through camp, you worked hard and you had a quick exit. How you feeling? What's going on emotionally? I know you have to feel happy about your result.
Yeah, I feel good. I mean, can't complain. 45-second knockout, Sometimes you feel like you put a whole camp in, and then 45 seconds you feel like you're getting maybe not enough work put in the cage, but you can't complain about a quick night at the office. So my body feels great. I felt 100% going into the cage. I've really stabilized my training camps where I know my body well, and I'm going into the cage at 100%. So feels good to get in there, and I'm thinking about the next fight already. So I know that was a title eliminator. We're looking for Ring of Combat lightweight championship in October. So that's the plan right now, but feeling pretty good.
I'm glad you brought that up, Dylan, about, getting in there and kind of like not being tested. I mean, obviously, when you're a fighter, you want to, if you can get a fast knockout or a submission and get out of there not injured, that's ideal. But, your last two fights, you were in and out in the first round. Your last fight at Triton Fights was an armbar. And then we said 35 seconds at Ring of Combat. And, but I know with your team, you're getting plenty of work in the room. Is that safe to say, even though you didn't get much work in the cage, you're getting that in practice and in camp you had plenty of work?
Yeah, I mean, at Cerro Longo, we get hard sparring rounds in, so, we're ready to go when we get in the cage. Plus, I don't mind having those quick first round finishes back to back from on my pro record because, I did have a pretty extensive amateur career. I went 6-0 as an amateur. A few of them actually went to a decision. A few of them were late finishes where they were really grind them out fights where, I got pushed and I got tested. So it's really good having a good amateur background, especially in just straight MMA, where you can kind of work through those situations where, at the pro level, they're looking for first round finishes. And, you don't want to start having your first few tests as a pro and then you wind up, coming up on the short end of it. So I think that I'm battle tested, already. So I'm happy with first round finishes. That's the goal right now. I know what I can do in the cage, and I see it in the training room. My coaches see it in the training room. So we're pretty confident about where I am. I'm pretty well rounded. I have heart for days. You'd have to kill me in the octagon straight up. There's just no way. I have Ray Longo and Ally Aquinta and Aljamain Sterling in my corner. Like, those guys have been my heroes for a long time. I've looked up to them for a long time. And with those guys in my corner, you actually have to kill me to get me out of there or put me completely unconscious because there's no quitting me whatsoever.
When you were growing up, Dylan, what got you into jiu-jitsu and training? Were you a fan of the UFC? Were you a wrestler? Or how did you find mixed martial arts and ultimately fighting?
Yeah, I did wrestle when I was younger, from 6 to about up until high school, and I started playing high school football. I really focused on football, but, I did love wrestling, but wound up going for football. I wound up getting in a lot of street fights growing up, actually. I kind of was in a town where, I had some people that had problems with me and, wound up being, let's find out, let's go square up. And, everybody kind of, got organized and was like, all right, if there's problems, then let's do it one-on-one. Everybody can watch, and that's what it is. It wasn't like a gang kind of situation, but it was, a pretty tough crowd that I ran with. And, I was not afraid to test my mettle. I think I was fighting for the wrong reasons. I think a lot of it was ego and a lot of it was reputation and stupid stuff like that where, people, just wanted to go test me. They heard my name, that I can fight, and, a lot of testosterone going around at that age, in high school and stuff where, people from different towns hear about you and then they want to come fight you. So I wound up getting a lot of like one-on-one street fights growing up, actually. And then I moved away from Long Island to go to LSU as a undergrad. I did my bachelor's degree at LSU, and I moved down to Louisiana, and nobody knew anything about me, So I kind of got a fresh feel for everybody's kind of first impressions of me and things like that. And I don't know why. I feel like I never fought for the wrong reasons. I think that I fought for good reasons, and I never beat up anybody that didn't want to fight me. So I think it gave me a sense of pride, and it kind of helped me develop my identity. And I just think that I'm a fighter at heart. So when I moved away to Louisiana, I was by myself, nobody around me to kind of tell me what to do or what I should be doing. And I kind of just gravitated towards, well, if I'm not getting in street fights here, I feel like a piece of me is missing, honestly. So I wound up going to a boxing gym. I worked up the courage to go into a boxing gym. I was always a fan of MMA, but, I thought I could do it, but it kind of seemed a little far-fetched. But I walked into a boxing gym. They had a pretty good jiu-jitsu program too. It was actually an affiliate of one of the schools that Dustin Poirier trained at in Baton Rouge, where there was some pretty high-level guys there. So I wound up getting in there, falling in love with it, and figuring there's nobody else here around me, and this is really what I love to do. So I tried to balance my schoolwork with my training, but once I graduated, I said, man, this is something that I really love to do. And, I think I have the skills and the heart and the brains to do it. And I want to see, you only get one life, you only get one go around in this thing. And, I don't want to be on my deathbed saying what if. So that's kind of how I did it. And I put my nose to the grind, and it's been working out pretty well because, I'm really living my dream right now. And I think there's a lot more to come.
Oh, listen, I agree with you. I had written, that you're one of the top prospects in the Northeast as far as moving on. I mean, I think, you're 4-0 now, and you were 6-0 as an amateur. Now, the one thing, Dylan, you haven't lost, okay? If you're reading my write-up, I'm writing Dylan Mantello is a monster. The crowd is chanting USC, UFC. A lot of people are telling you how great you are. Who's the one or two people that are really humbling you, telling you, Dylan, you suck. You got to work harder. You got to get better here, because right now everybody loves you. You're doing so great, but you still need to keep moving forward. So who's humbling you? Because right now, even me, I mean, I'm talking to Dylan Mantello. This dude is going to the UFC. He's a monster. I mean, he's so talented. There's got to be somebody that's, keeping you even keel. Who would you say the one or two guys are that, are getting in your grill telling you, Dylan, you got to do better?
Sure. I mean, there's guys in the gym, Aljamain Sterling's in the gym, he's the UFC champ. We got Ali Quinta, fighting Khabib. He's got all these crazy fights and stuff. So I still feel like I'm the guy that's kind of having to prove myself, honestly. Being around such high level guys is humbling in itself. I have Ray Longo as a head coach. Just being around that guy is humbling, I feel like I'm still lucky to be in the room learning from him. I feel like I'm still just starting out in this sport. And so when I get in the cage, I'm at all-time confidence. I think that no matter who's in the cage with me, I think that I'm going to win because, I just believe in myself that much. But at the same time, I am a pessimist by nature. I think that, I look on the negative side a lot, in regards to, how I'm progressing. And, I try to use that as an advantage, though. I say that, I prepare for the worst case scenario. I think that, when I get in there, it ends up not being the worst case scenario, but I prepare for that in my mind. So I feel confident when I'm in the cage. I feel confident when I get the wins, but leading up to it, I'm working because I'm motivated by fear. I'm afraid that somebody's going to humiliate me in front of my family. I've sacrificed a lot of time and different things in my life. I could be doing other things. I've sacrificed a lot to be doing what I'm doing, and to think about somebody coming in there and knocking me out and taking that away from me is something that keeps me humble too. In addition to that, I mean, I have a great family here. I have a fiance. She has a son, Jordan, 4 years old. I've been in his life since he's about 1.5, 2 years old. So that's something that's totally separate from fighting. And he's starting to get into it a little bit now. He kind of wants to know what's going on with the fight and stuff. But, when I'm home, I try to be the best dad that I can be for him and the best husband that I can be for him. And, it's a balance. I think that it's important to have those things balanced in your life. And, I'm looking for an enriching life, a full life, but when it's time for business, it's time for business. And I think that in the cage, I'm definitely one to keep your eyes out for, like you said. So.
Listen, I'm even more of a fan after hearing you talk about that and how you're a father to that young boy. That's awesome, man. And I wish you nothing but the success. Before we go, Dylan, give some shout outs or some love to any of your sponsors or anybody you just want to say thank you to.
Well, I got to give a shout out to Octodom Body Wash Series. That's a company that's run by one of my buddies, Charlie Campbell. He's just had an awesome win in Bellator on Friday. the night before me, actually. So he was cutting weight while I was cutting weight while I was watching him fight. So, it's a family atmosphere at Cerro Longo and Law MMA. Just shout out to all my sponsors. I have a few, that really support me, and it really helps. All the guys that support me, even companies that are not really sports related, they really get in there. A few different companies that I work with, are great support for me, and I think that it's an inspiration to anybody, really, because I think that getting in a cage is undeniably special. And I think that the courage that it takes to do that is undeniably special. And people like being a part of it. And I like having people, jump on the bandwagon. So I had a great win with this last fight. 45-second knockout. I'm coming for everybody now, So I think big things are in the next year and a year and a half. I think you're going to be seeing me in the UFC making some waves.
I mean, I agree. Listen, as well as I do, how many Ring of Combat champions have gone on to bigger and better things, world champions in the UFC. And listen, you are on the path. Thank you for giving me some of your time, Dylan. Listen, let's talk again in October, or when you have your championship fight lined up. I'd love to talk to you again. It was a pleasure talking to you and learning some more about you. And I look forward to, following your career. I think, like you said, I think big things are on the rise. I know you're a hard worker and very talented, and can't wait to see what's next for you, man. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Pleasure here as well. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Yeah, we're going to get that Ring of Combat strap. I'm going to join that Chris Weidman and Ali Quinta and all those guys. I'm going to join the club here as a local promotion. It means a lot to me to get that belt around my waist. It's been a vision of mine for a while and a goal of mine. So we're looking to do it, but let's absolutely touch base before the next one, because I think after that one, it's going to be probably UFC. So I'm ready to go.
People are going to know the Quiet Man. They're going to know who you are.
Sir. Quiet Man. Let's go. All right, man. Thank you.